it
Let me
goes.
know when you push the button so I could get prepped.
Okay, I pushed the button.
We're live, pal?
We are live, pal.
Woo! Let's make sure. We're live, pal? Yeah. There we go. There we go. Hey everyone, welcome to a very bright and early edition of Loser Leaves Wrestling. We both just got the crumbs out of our eyes and we're waking up from the Sandman. I am personally. You know what happened? I forgot to tell you this before the show. This is Loser Leaves Wrestling, by the way. Erin stayed over last night, and she's going to move to San Diego.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's right. You told me
yeah.
that.
Erin is
That's
a
great.
fan, big fan, a friend of the show, big friend of the show.
So you went really hard last night.
No, we didn't. We watched King of
Just
the Hill.
you're watching. I'm watching King of the Hill.
Everyone in the world is watching King of
Is
the
that
Hill. It
true?
really feels that way. Like everyone I talk to is just like everyone's like, "Oh, I'm pretty much watching King of the Hill." Everyone's watching King of the Hill right now.
Wow, this is the
It's
first time I've ever really watched it.
oh, it's great. Such a great
It's
show.
great. It's outstanding.
Well, welcome to Loser Leaves Wrestling. Loser Leaves Wrestling, where we're losers reviewing wrestling. Apparently, that's a call out to one of our trolls. We love you, troll. Come back to us. Boy, and this is the news you can't lose. The news you can't lose. With your Loser Leaves Wrestling crew. My name is Red Jefferson. I'm here with Roy Hammer. How you doing today, Roy?
I'm good. I'm good. I liked your intro to the show. It turns out that you were tired, but I thought you were doing like a smooth, like, "Hey everybody, welcome to Loser
Oh,
Leaves
okay.
Wrestling."
I should
You
do
were
that. Just
doing like our Saturday brunch, like, "Hey, it's brunch time, and we're gonna talk about the news this week."
we need some
You know?
cafe music.
Yeah.
You know, some light cafe music to put over the podcast.
Yeah. Why don't more people do that? Why don't more people just have music playing in the background the whole
That's a
time?
good question. Let's press record on our Audacities real quick.
Oh yeah.
Do you have it open
Yeah. Let's
still?
do that. We haven't. Yeah. We haven't talked about anything
Okay,
significant
good,
yet, so
good,
this
good.
works.
Ready?
All right. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Go.
Recording.
Excellent. Hey, this is Loser Leaves Wrestling. Loser Leaves Wrestling, the news you can't lose. With your Loser Leaves Wrestling crew, my name is Red Jefferson. I'm here with Roy Lazarus. We just already introduced ourselves. We already talked a little bit, but I forgot to press play on the Audacity.
Yep.
This is an eventful week we've had. Not really.
Ooh,
There's some eventful
baby.
things. Do you have some saucy stuff?
I probably have the same saucy stuff that you have. There's two big pieces of news that have come out in the last 24 hours that, really three if you think about it, but whatever. Uh,
Uh,
and then there's some shows that happened this week that
uh-huh.
are fun to mention. And so, I'll let you kick it off. You want me to kick it off? We can do whatever we
Well,
want
let's
to do
talk
here. It's
about
up to
the
you.
news that was starting last week when we had AEW and SmackDown going head to head. Rampage and SmackDown going head to head. And the viewership is in, and it's kind of like equalish. SmackDown won.
SmackDown won in total viewers, but AEW won in the key demo.
Just by right barely, or even at all. Like they were just
Yeah,
tied.
by like less than 100,000 viewers in total. So the thing is, in total, AEW won by less than 100,000 viewers. The joke, it's not really a joke, but like the rub, if you will, is that they put Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns at the end of the show up against Ruby Soho and the Bunny, and they tied Brock Lesnar. So they're the two biggest stars in the WWE. The equal number of viewers in the key demo of 18 to 49 were watching that and Ruby Soho and the Bunny.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you see what MJF said about Ruby Soho?
No.
He's just like, Roman Reigns likes to talk a lot of shit. I like Roman Reigns. I respect Roman Reigns. But you lost against Ruby Soho, and she sucks. Pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I really,
Yeah, there's a lot of fun things that came out of that. There's a lot of fun trash talk.
There is a
came out
lot of
that.
trash talk. So Vince, apparently, when he found out about the news, completely no-sold it, which is sometimes very like him and sometimes very unlike him, because he doesn't seem to have any consistency. There's that. And also, Eric Bischoff's mixing in, and
Oh,
he
boy.
likes to, he's like, oh, I'm going to lay some truth bombs on you and stuff like that. What do you think of Eric Bischoff jumping into the fray?
I just think he's such a jabron. He's
Oh.
such a clown. Are you kidding? Like, the whole thing is. And did you hear what Tony Khan said on Busted Open Radio?
No.
How he was kind of like, it's contradictory for Eric Bischoff to tell me
Oh, yeah.
to not talk and focus on product when Bischoff was literally the person
riding down
who
from the
was
ceiling.
giving away spoilers, riding down from the ceiling, challenging Vince McMahon to a fight, like all of these things. Like, shut up, And he's right. He's completely right. Hold on a second. My dog's barking.
Bark, 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 Goose.
Goose, it's
Goose.
okay, buddy.
Don't
Stop
mute.
it.
Don't mute her. Don't mute this.
Well, I
It's
know.
content.
Is this good content? Hey,
It's
why
good
you barking,
content.
bud?
We love dogs here at LLW.
Yeah, we
we
sure
support
do.
them. We support dogs.
But yeah, I think it's all very silly. And Bischoff, like, I guess you're just trying to push to stay relevant. I don't know. But, like, he's also, like, Tony Khan has also, like, gone out of his way to, like, include you on television more than once and, like, gotten you some paydays. And I don't know. Like, what's the point here?
You want to know what the point is? I am suspicious. By the way we're positioned in the feed, it looks like there's a light between us because there's light on my right side of my face and light on your left side. So it looks like there's something shut. It's really nice. But I think this is an angle. I think this might be
interesting.
interesting. Because I always feel like everyone that's not on the show is trying to work an angle. And they're trying to get in. Maybe Tony Khan's taking it seriously, but Eric Bischoff just wants to get on the TV.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, and I don't mean this in a negative way at all, but, like, I think Tony Khan is easily susceptible to internet storylines and things like that, because he's like, yeah, there's a certain percentage of my fan base who's legitimately interested in seeing something like this happen on television, so why not just try it? Why not just do it? Like, let's go for it, So maybe that is Bischoff really kind of being a carny and trying to
I see it.
work him. But, like, yeah, so do I. But I'm not going to listen because I'm going to forget, but I'm sure I'll read about it. But, like, what truth bombs do you have to say, Eric Bischoff? You're rich, and your dad's rich, and you took Ted Turner money. Like, what did you do?
No, his thing is just like I heard some of them. I read a little bit, but I didn't really care. It's just Eric Bischoff's like, yeah, but you're not really competition. You're acting like a competition, and you're not. And so, like, what's okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, Eric Bischoff has nothing to say, and he has nothing to do.
And the other thing, yeah, right. I'm sorry. The other thing is, like, if Bischoff had gone up against the WWE after they were already a publicly traded company for the last 20 years and had no competition for 20 years, it would probably also be a different ballgame too. Yeah. And also, like, not only did he beat the WWE for X amount of weeks,
83.
But he also, yeah, right. And then but by the time he'd left and was out of a position of power, he had already driven the company into the ground.
Sure.
Basically, Russo is awful and one of the worst bookers ever, but he also, like, kind of kicked dirt on the grave that already was WCW by the time he got there. And then in 2010, he stripped away anything that was remotely interesting or different about TNA and brought in the Nasty Boys. So he's really kind of killed two companies.
Yeah, he has nothing to say, and he's just trying to stay relevant right now, which is cute. I can't stand his show. I tried to listen to it a little bit, and, like, I try to get into it, but the issue is he goes on rants that last forever. He says the same thing over and over again, and like, at least, like, Jeff Jarrett will poke fun at the Dave Meltzer thing or something like that. Like, he goes on tangents, but, like, Bischoff is just redundant. Y'all know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and Bischoff will never admit that he's wrong. Yeah. He'll only admit that something is bad, or if he was wrong, if it's already been established before that it was bad, he was wrong. He'll never admit, like, yep, that was a bad idea, or, yep, I shouldn't have done that. It's just like, yeah, no, hey, how? Of course.
All of them are fucking carnies. All of them. By the way, did you listen to Jeff Jarrett on?
I did.
Yeah. Jeff Jarrett on My World. Conrad Thompson got a little under the skin of the old Double J and caused a little contention on the podcast program. Who are you team? Whose side do you stand on?
I'm ultimately Team Conrad because Jarrett should know, like, this is what it is. It's not like when they did, like, the he held Vince up episode. It's not like they immediately talked about all the history that, like, his dad had with Vince. It's like, we just want to know about Goss. Like, you should know that that's what this is going to be about.
No, interesting. I'm Team Jarrett. I think that Conrad was trying to, like, fucking rattle him, which is fine. It's understandable to the show. But the thing is, like, and then Jarrett just got upset and disgruntled. The thing is, like, with him, he was upset that because he got confused with the two Vinces. He kept saying Vince McMahon, Vince Russo, and then he's just like, "Oh, you're lying." He's like, "I'm not lying. I'm just getting confused." But either way, we can't talk about that show. This isn't a My World Review podcast. We have to move on.
Yeah,
we have
let's
to hit
move
some
on.
other things. You hear about a little show called King of the Ring? You hear about a little King of the Ring? We got a new King of the Ring!
Yeah, I watched Crown Jewel. I watched the whole show.
Oh.
And it was good. It was a good show. It was the WWE's best show of the year by far.
Yeah.
All the wrestling was good from top to bottom, pretty much. And yeah, Xavier Woods is the King of the Ring, and that's awesome.
Great choice.
That's a
and
really
I saw some clips of it. I saw women in the crowd.
Yeah, there were a few women in the
they
crowd.
showed those 7 women in the crowd. But it's good. Yeah. I'm just glad because like the past one Crown Jewel I watched, I think maybe the first one, there was no women in the crowd.
Yeah.
So
well, they do a good job of positioning. Like they'll cut to some women in the crowd, and it's always kids in like the front row. There's a lot of kids in the front.
Oh, there's no longer like freaking like rich billionaires in the front.
Well, it's probably their kids.
Sure.
But after Goldberg beat Bobby Lashley, he like went down and like hugged a bunch of kids in the front row. You know. Yeah, there were some women in the crowd.
Wait, Goldberg beat Bobby Lashley?
Yeah. Speared him off the ramp, threw a bunch of tables in a crash pad.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They did a segment where Natalya and Titus brought out 3 breast cancer survivors. So 3 women got championship belts in the middle of the ring, which is also, I feel like, a significant moment.
That's nice.
For a Saudi show. Yeah, the women's triple threat match was really good. I'd imagine it being very difficult to be a woman who's used to wrestling in like their normal gear, and then suddenly they have to wrestle in full like
sweatshirts,
turtleneck bodysuits, and like a extra large T-shirt on top of that. Yeah, but it was a good match. It was a good show overall. It was.
All right. Any other notes on the show? Anything you'd like to? Any things that are newsworthy?
This is like I just said it was a good show, but now I'm gonna dog it. The Queen's Crown tournament. This isn't just dogging the last match, which was fine, but like the total time of all of the matches combined in the Queen's Crown tournament was less than 20 minutes. It was like 19 minutes and 40 seconds for like 12 or 13 matches, however many that is. So that's a bummer.
Sure.
But good for Zelina Vega, who hadn't won a match until the tournament started.
Zelina Vega won?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Very first Queen Crown or Queen. I don't know.
Queen's Crown. We got a comment here. Joe's in the chat. I hope they turn Woods heel off this. Him being better than the New Day because he's royalty now would be an interesting change of pace for him. I don't want I'm fine with him turning heel. I don't want him to turn on New Day.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing. I actually like the fact that they're still buds. I like the idea of one of them turning heel, though. I'm not mad at the fact that one could turn heel. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I like that. I like when someone turns heel and he doesn't have to turn on his group. The WWE, I don't think, thinks that way.
Yeah.
Their thoughts on wrestling aren't that nuanced. But like when Scorpio Sky turned heel, he didn't like beat up Frankie Kazarian or anybody. He just like distanced himself from his group, and he was just a bad guy.
Yeah, and he also distanced
regardless of
himself
how
from
you
his
feel
personality.
about it. Yeah. Okay.
Whoa. Really fucking crucified.
Good.
Okay. We got more stuff to talk about. Now, this is my favorite news of the week. This is my favorite. MLW just got a cup of coffee. I don't know what his sayings were. Enzo Amore. A cup of haters? And a cup of haters? A cup of coffee. That's Ready Savage. And a cup of coffee. The cup of haters? Enzo Amore is now with MLW. We're all very excited to see this. And I'm very excited. How do you feel about Enzo and MLW?
Do you expect me to have strong feelings about this either way?
Yes.
Yeah, whatever.
He's just
good for
gonna
him.
Inject a little realness into MLW, you know?
MLW.
He's our Jersey boy. He's from Wyckoff.
Yeah. Of course he is.
He is.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Joe writes, they don't have to break up. Just have them be annoyed, bothered by his behavior. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's great.
Brothers can be upset with their brothers. That's the thing.
100%.
Tony says, "Boom!" Of course you do, Tony. Boom, baby. Is like David Spade in here. Joe writes, also love that they gave it to Vega. Amazing on the mic. Wish she was still a manager. I'd rather her just be a wrestler that's good on the mic. Let her be a wrestler.
Well, she needs to get the opportunities to actually wrestle and have feuds and stuff.
Tony says, I don't really watch MLW. Neither do I, but we're going to start. Vice, it's on Vice now. And
is it?
Well, actually, that's.
I know that it was on once, but like I'm waiting because that's on MLW. That's not on us. I'm waiting for them to finally say like, this is our time slot. This is our weekly show. Once they establish that, we'll start watching it.
Yeah, 100%. Get on that, Tony. Let's send some angry letters, Tony. Yeah. Joe, get on this. But also, we got some more people joining companies. Braun Strowman is likely to join Impact Wrestling. By the way, Enzo is going to be going as Enzo.
Of course.
And Braun Strowman is the Titan. The Titan. Yeah. Titan. How do we feel about this? How do we feel about Braun Strowman and Impact? It makes sense, right?
Yeah, I like it. I think it's good. He's going to debut at Bound for Glory, which is tonight. Normally I would watch it, but I'm not going to be watching it tonight. It's fine. It's fine. Do you remember fake Razor Ramon?
Sure.
Chubby
guy, big guy.
Yeah, he would go by the Titan. That was his name.
That's
on,
true.
The indie
right.
scene.
On Smoky Mountain?
Yeah, Smoky Mountain. He was in Japan as the Titan. So I think that's funny. That's who I think of when I think of the Titan. But I don't expect him to know who that is. So.
He didn't get a lot of mileage with that name.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not getting any frequent flyer miles with that thing. Joe writes, but they won't let her speak as a wrestler. Unless you are Lynch or Charlotte, you don't get much mic time. We're watching Charlotte in a little bit.
Well, I think there's other people who get mic time, but I think it is becoming abundantly clear, no matter how much they do as far as like Women's Revolution, and we have all these women on our roster, unless you're Lynch, Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, or Bianca, or maybe Alexa Bliss, you got nothing. They don't do anything with you or anything for you.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true. Tony writes here, not a big fan of Braun. I don't think anyone's like a fan of Braun Strowman, but I understand his importance. Like, I understand what he could do for a company. Like, he's like a believable guy. He's got a presence to him. He's got a lot of name recognition, even though he can't use his name. There's a lot of pluses to having Braun Strowman on your roster, right?
Yeah, he can.
Roy?
Still say get the.
Oh, Lord. There's going to be such a glitch in a moment. Oh, man. Classic Goose. Just waiting for that glitch to go. They're going to be scared for a second, but they're going to see us right back. Joe writes, he's saying he's boring. Horrible championship run, he writes. Joe says that he doesn't have time for wrestling, yet he knows all about it. He's lying to me. Roy, got to fix his dumpster internet.
Who said that?
Tony! Tony says you got to fix the dumpster internet.
It's coming back.
Oh, man. Yeah, we're coming back. We're here. We're doing great. Hopefully, let's see how they hear it.
Yeah, we're back. All right.
We're back. But let's. I read the news and watch your show. Thank you, Joe. That's why he knows. He reads the news and watches our show. But we never talk about Selena Vega, Joe. Someone's watching extra wrestling and not telling me. We have one more piece, two more pieces here. Not two more pieces, but on this topic, everyone wants Bronson Reed.
Oh, yeah.
Bronson Reed is sought after by NJPW. Yeah. Impact's interested. People like that. He's going as Jonah
That was his
Rock.
original name. I love when a guy in the indie scene gets established, changes his name in WWE, and gets to go back to his original name, like a John Moxley, a Brody Lee. Yeah, I love that.
And we have one more. Filthy Tom Lawler is leaving MLW.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's leaving MLW. How do we? I like
Filthy Tom too.
I think he's I like his gimmick. I like his wrestling style. where he'd work well in an AEW.
Yeah.
But that being said, we're still pretty congested.
He's currently the open weight New Japan Strong heavyweight champion, so he's probably going to do more work in New Japan, I'd assume. Maybe make some more.
Is he a blood sport guy?
He is a blood sport guy, big time. Yeah, well, he's a legitimate MMA fighter. He fought in the UFC for a period of time, so yeah, absolutely. He's a really talented guy.
Some of you may not be watching MLW, but Filthy Tom Lawler is pretty interesting. He wrestles like Matt Riddle, but he acts like Terry Gordy.
He does a thing that I really like where he wears cut-off jean shorts to the ring, and then he takes off his cut-off jean shorts, and he has tights with the design of cut-off jean shorts on them underneath.
That's very funny. That's very funny. Moving on, we got some sad news. Here. Jim Ross has been diagnosed with skin cancer. Skin cancer on his leg. He's got this ulcer-looking thing on his leg. Looks real gross. He's going to get some radiation done, probably. He's going to see the radiologist, going to give a treatment plan. He's feeling good. Luckily, they're probably catching it early enough, you know? Let's hope. But also some sad news. Hacksaw Jim Duggan just had emergency surgery.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to keep our thoughts and wishes because prayers are not welcome. I'm joking. You can pray, just don't tell me about it. Right. How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, I mean, all the best to the homies out there. Jim Duggan oddly holds a special place in my heart because I started watching WCW when I was 8, and he was all over WCW television, and I was like, if this guy can't do anything, I can be a wrestler. This guy can't move, and he's got a 2x4, and he just screams. I can do this.
And he just pulls tape out of his pants, and somehow it makes his punches harder. I learned all that from a now defunct wrestling article.
Wow. That's right.
I learned a lot of my WCW knowledge.
Those were really good articles.
Oh, good. I've been reading.
How are you really? That guy is such a scam, but his writing on WCW specifically is very good. Did he do a thing on Halloween Havoc 97?
I tried to look for it. He did not.
Of course he didn't.
He referenced it frequently. John Buse in the chat. Woo! The Buse is loose in the chat room. Everyone watch out for that guy. He's going to be in the doghouse for sure. We're going to see if he's going to be invited to the pizza party after this. We're going to find out. We love you, Buse. We got some more stuff here. Last night was Rampage. And we got our first person advancing in the AEW Eliminator tournament, and it's Orange Cassidy. This was obvious.
Yeah,
right?
There's always a part of me that hopes for an upset. But it's obvious. Orange Cassidy. I mean, Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley is going to be an interesting matchup. They haven't done that yet. I'm jumping to conclusions that Moxley's going to beat 10 from the Dark Order. I'm going to jump to that conclusion here.
Yeah. Oh, my God. The 10 being in there is ridiculous. Tony writes, "It's okay, John. I never get pizza either." Well, Tony wrote that. Tony never gets pizza either. And Tony, you will get pizza when you stop trying to needle me. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to eat pizza when someone's trying to get under my skin like that. You're supposed to get into the pizza skin, which is the cheese. Tony writes, "Red hates pizza cutters." John writes, "Gotta avenge Yuta."
Very true. Very true. That's a really good point, actually.
That actually makes a lot of sense because Jon Moxley recently bulldog
just crushed him.
Just fucking ran him over. So that actually makes sense for storyline purposes. 10's not going to win. We're going to see Bryan Danielson move forward. We're going to see Lance Archer move forward.
I think it's going to be Eddie Kingston, personally. We'll see. Yeah,
I'm fine with that. I'd actually prefer Eddie Kingston versus
versus Danielson. Danielson. Did you see?
John Buseman also writes, "I am pizza."
That's a good point.
That's a pretty good point. Excellent.
John Buseman turned me back onto Domino's after many years away from it. I'm very grateful for that.
No, it shouldn't be. Domino's
no,
is
it's good.
Go to Papa John's.
Shaq does love it.
Shaq
Domino's has become where it's at.
Have you had their garlic sauce?
Yeah, I've had both garlic sauces. Anyway,
Pizza Hut
I recognize. Whoa, hold on a second there. I recognize that watching Roads to the Top is insufferable. Let me just throw that out there before I continue the statement.
I purposely wrote no road to the top.
But the thing that they do that's really fun, that they did it, they'll probably do it this week too, is that they do on the first commercial break of Roads to the Top, there's always a fun promo. So if anybody gets the chance, I don't know if you're going to be able to find it anywhere, but in the first commercial break of the last week's Road to the Top, Bryan Danielson did a promo about how good it feels to be back, etc. And then Dustin Rhodes walks up, and they have a nice little exchange. That's going to be great. I'm very excited for Bryan Danielson versus Dustin Rhodes.
Very excited about that. That's going to be good. That's going to be really good. We have some more comments here. Joe writes, Pizza Hut pan is still the best. Honestly, Joe, I used to be in agreement with you, but it's Pizza Hut stuffed crust. It's a sausage and onion stuffed crust pizza. But Pizza Hut pan is very good. Love that sweet sauce. Love the sweet sauce. Tony writes, why is Pac, Andrade, Jericho not in this tournament or even MJF? I like the fact that not everyone's invited to the party. Andrade hasn't proven himself enough yet. Jericho has been losing a lot of his matches, singles matches, so I don't think he should be in the tournament. And Pac, I would have liked him in there instead of 10.
So, yeah, I was thinking about this. Two things. I think we, as the quote unquote educated wrestling fan, want more of like a G1 New Japan style tournament where there's X amount of people and it's legitimately all of the best wrestlers in the company and they all beat the shit out of each other and no one can really afford to lose, but everybody loses and it's accepted and it's fine. That I would love that. I would love to see, Pac versus Orange Cassidy in the first round, but both of them can't really lose right now. Or Andrade versus Jon Moxley in the first round, but neither of them can really lose. Although I should say Andrade, I guess, lost on Rampage, but we can talk about that in a minute.
What I love about this, every single one in this tournament is fresh matchups. These are all very fresh matchups, which I'm excited about. Joe writes, in terms of what Tony said about Pac, Andrade, and Jericho not being in it, he says, agreed, they should have more top folks in the tournament, but they don't want them to lose, like you mentioned before. Tony says, that's it, Roy. And Joe writes, I don't think they want MJF taking losses, so him not being in makes sense. We actually talked about this earlier this week. We feel we here at LLW do not think MJF is going to be champion for a while.
He doesn't need it.
He's not going to be champion for a while, and he doesn't need it. Him talking about how he should be champion is money. Him never winning it or never even trying for it, like down the line, 2-3 years from now, great. But he doesn't need it right now. He's money just saying he should be.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And yeah, and I think also to go back to this idea too about like the G1 in New Japan versus this tournament is that the thing about the G1 too is that everybody wrestles each other multiple times, and it's like a record that you gain throughout the tournament. So you wrestle everybody, and at the end of the day, the person with the most points advances to the final. So if you lose, you can win. If you lose, you can win. In this, it's just one elimination. So putting Andrade in the first round against Orange Cassidy when you want to set up Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley, it just doesn't. Someone gets hurt in that scenario, and it's not ultimately worth it.
Yeah.
So it's accepted. And I think a thing that we're going to talk about in a little bit that I have on my list is the women's, the TBS title.
Oh, I have it right here.
Because I would like to get your predictions on how that's going to go down.
Yeah, let's get so as Tony writes, like you said, the G1 format is awesome and should be used. So I think the G1 format is very interesting. I feel like the G1 format is great because it's G1. It's a special thing. For this regular, let's find a new number one contender tournament, I don't think we should go all out where we're like having our big stars lose on one show.
Yeah. And the G1, I think the reason the G1 works too is that they don't have it's not formatted like a television show. It's just basically a bunch of pay-per-view quality shows, one after the other. So maybe if they did like a tour of England and they did like a 3-night special or something like that, sure. But like in this situation,
actually that'd be cool. An entire tour that's just built on a tournament. Really cool. Awesome. Joe writes, agreed. He doesn't, in terms of MJF, he doesn't need it now, but he should eventually. Maybe. I almost like the idea of him being, like we talked about, a Piper, where he's just he's bigger than the title. And that's interesting. Well, let's move on to the TBS tournament, because the TBS tournament is pretty exciting. We got to get the TBS championship. And we've already got our people in here. And I've got some mixed feelings on some of these people.
I'm going to try to pull up the bracket here.
I got the bracket right here. So we got Anna Jay versus Jamie Hayter. I'm cool with that. Anna Jay is good. Jamie Hayter is I enjoy her, but I haven't seen enough of her to get a real feel for how she is. But I don't know if Jamie Hayter should be in this tournament.
Okay. She doesn't get the bye.
Why is it?
Right? No.
Is there a bye?
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at it, right, there's all of these first round matchups, and then Statlander, Nyla Rose, Jade, and Thunder Rosa all get buys essentially into the second round.
Oh, I didn't see that. I was about to say where's Thunder Rosa,
you
Statlander,
gotta check
and Jade.
Out. Can you see this?
Okay. Well, let me get the. Oh, yeah. I love that. I love.
All right, now we're on board.
Love. That is great. Okay, let's talk about this. So, Anna, keep that open. Anna Jay versus Jamie Hayter. Whoever wins
Thunder
faces
Rosa.
who? Okay, so that makes things interesting. Who do we see? Anna Jay and Jamie Hayter? I hope it's
Jamie Hayter, too. That's a better opponent for Thunder Rosa, who's ultimately going to go over whoever wins this match here. Yeah.
100%. Then Bunny versus Red Velvet. Honestly, not super psyched about either of these two right now.
But again, same situation where Jade Cargill.
Who's face? I think Red Velvet needs to win this.
Yeah.
I think Red Velvet needs to win this because Red Velvet and Jade have this thing, helps promote the fucking roads to the top, all that stuff. Moving on, Serena Deeb versus Hikaru
happening
Shida.
this Wednesday. That's really tough. In my head, they would face Nyla Rose.
Okay, I know who
I would pick
pick.
Deeb. I want Deeb to win this. You kidding? Yeah.
Deeb! Have Deeb fucking ruin
So we're
going to
get to this. We're going to get to what I think is going to happen here. What my prediction is. But also, if let's say Shida wins this, how many times have Shida this is you don't say this often about the AEW women's division, but how many times have Shida and Nyla Rose fought each other at this point? At least 2 or 3 times. Give me a fresh matchup.
Too many times.
Give me a fresh matchup. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a good fresh matchup. And then we've got Penelope Ford versus Ruby Soho. Versus who will Ruby Soho face? So Ruby Soho versus Chris Statlander. That's a given, right?
So this is hear me out on this. This is really exciting. So let's say Deeb wins. This is the bottom half of the tournament. Let's say Deeb wins. Then it's Deeb versus Nyla Rose and Statlander versus Ruby Soho, which could lead to Deeb versus Ruby Soho in the semifinals. That's awesome.
But that's exactly the thing is, everyone's all up in arms about Ruby Soho.
Why?
I get her appeal.
Why up in arms in like a positive.
So they love her. They love her. Like up in arms. They're thrown up in the air like she's body surfing. And I get it. I get that she's had some, but like so far in AEW, she hasn't really shown me what she's capable of.
No time better than a tournament against Chris Statlander, Serena Deeb, and Thunder Rosa.
Honestly, the thing is like Deeb needs to face every single woman in this tournament 3 times just so that they get the experience of working with someone that understands it. You know, like this, she is literally top level.
Well, she's the most experienced of everybody in this tournament, pretty much.
She's the most experienced. She needs to face everyone. Joe writes here, I like the brackets, but if rankings matter so much here, shouldn't that be the designator? If you want to have a tournament based off folks who have a certain win percentage or higher, seems random. Well, I think that I get what you're saying, Joe. They do that most of the year. You know, when they have these eliminator tournaments, it's like, oh, we have a lot of people kind of in that top spot. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I also think, Joe, I don't know if you've got a chance to look at the rankings. I sure haven't. But I will say that, like, Ruby Soho lost to homegirl Britt Baker. And Anna Jay just lost to Britt Baker. And Red Velvet lost to Britt Baker. And Shida just lost. And Deeb has been injured. So all of these people have to qualify to get into the tournament. Essentially.
Yeah, and the people that are the buys seem to be the best.
Yeah, Jade Cargill hasn't lost yet. Thunder Rosa. Nyla Rose never really loses. And Chris Stat is also someone who never loses either, I guess.
And just in terms of the sports-like aspect and wins and losses, there's still tournaments in football. Like when you get to the playoffs, like it's based on seed. You have the better win percentage, you get a better seed. Is it seed or seed?
That's a really good question, actually. I have no idea. I don't know.
Hey, can someone let us know if it's seed or seat when you have a better position on a tournament? Because I absolutely don't know. Joe writes, agreed on Soho. She's over because of the song, not her or what she does.
Ooh, take it easy. Take it easy.
Joe also writes, good point, Roy. I was talking more
also
about the
a good point,
tournament. Joe. But good point, but also in terms of that, like, if I wish they bracketed out just being like, oh, Moxley has the most wins. That's why he's facing 10.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I wish they said that. I wish they gave us that information. So then it would be a little bit. And Joe writes seed. That doesn't make sense to me. Why is it seed?
We'll figure that out later, I suppose.
Joe, let us know why it's C. Moving on. Any other thoughts on this tournament before we move on
I
to the
hope
next
they do
point?
it what we're saying, and they don't have Nyla Rose win, so Ruby Soho has to fight Nyla Rose, because I'm tired of the, like, here's the big strong person that we're going to put up against the resilient babyface. I'm tired of that. It's because she just gets put in that role all the time. She gets beat usually. I'd rather see some serious wrestling in this scenario. Yeah.
Okay. Tony writes, both to predictable. They better put a swerve in
I
there
wouldn't be surprised if
somewhere.
they did.
Yeah. So what do we have? Let's just talk about those matches that we're guessing. So it's going to be Jamie Hayter versus Thunder Rosa, probably. Yeah. Thunder Rosa is going over. We're going to have Red Velvet versus Jade. Jade's going over. We're going to have Serena Deeb versus Nyla Rose.
That's a swerve to me, though. If Serena Deeb wins, I would be surprised. I want it more than anything in the world, but I would be surprised if she won.
I think she is. Ruby Soho versus who?
I mean, that's Ruby. This is probably Ruby's tournament. I think this is.
No, I think so. If they don't give this to Thunder Rosa,
I think this is Ruby Soho's tournament. I'm going to be honest with you. I think the finals are Ruby Soho versus Thunder Rosa, but the swerve that comes in is when Thunder Rosa and Jade Cargill meet in the semifinals. If Jade Cargill beats Thunder Rosa, I would be surprised by that. I would be happy with a Thunder Rosa or a Ruby Soho as a winner, or Serena Deeb. But if it's not one of those three, I'm disappointed in the outcome of this tournament. But those are just my personal feelings. I'm thrilled they're doing this tournament to begin with.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I don't know if they're. Man, we're gonna get back to you on this. This is something we're going to solve today. Moving on. Effie was busted for weed.
What? Is that true?
Effie's been busted for weed in Atlanta. Effie of Game Changer Wrestling and internet darling Effie. He is the internet.
Yeah.
He is the internet champion, former internet champion. Now it's back to two-time reigning internet champion Zack Ryder. We stopped busting people for weed. He had 0.02 grams.
Ridiculous.
So little there.
But I will say that tonight, this reminded me, and I wanted to mention this, tonight's GCW show looks really good and really exciting. If anybody is around to check, the Briscoes are fighting on it.
That's
Minoru
tonight?
Suzuki.
I love the Briscoes besides their everything they say in real life. All their beliefs and all the things but I love them as
excellent wrestlers.
I just don't want them to have any say in anything. Go back to your chicken farm, you fucking yokels. Just wrestle.
They're great. And Minoru
Delaware.
Suzuki is fighting Nick Gage.
Are you... Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yes,
no,
it is. You come
on.
Okay.
If Minoru Suzuki just fucking murders him. The issue is Minoru Suzuki and Nick Gage, they're both old men. And Minoru Suzuki, I hope he just beats the living life out of him real time.
Real good.
Because he can. I feel like a strong breeze could knock Nick Gage down right now. He walks around like Tully Blanchard. It's rough. Joe writes, for the men's swerve would make sense. Hangman's first opponent won't be someone big. I see Orange or Eddie taking it. Orange or Eddie taking
Danielson's going to lose because of elite interference.
Actually, that makes some sense.
I see that happening.
But you see Eddie or Orange winning this thing?
I'm all in favor of Eddie Kingston winning everything.
No, that is insulting. Tony writes, so he had one joint. We're talking about Effie here. Effie had just a minuscule amount of weed. He got busted. We don't know the fine yet. Tony says, I'll be watching GCW for sure. I wonder if Suzuki will take light tube shot.
He'll take one and he'll laugh and laugh. It'll be great.
He'll eat the glass. I would love one of those death matches to play out.
Maybe it will. If anything's going to, it's this one.
Maybe it will. But the thing is, back in the day, they played differently because they weren't as polished, they weren't as planned. It was literally like watching a Terry Funk, one of the Terry Funk Cactus Jack ones, not the main one, but one of them was actually pretty interesting. There was I forget what it was. It was like a glass out around the ring one. I don't know, but it was interesting because you don't know who's going to win. You don't see what they're planning. everything looks planned in that. It looks like they're like, all right, now we got.
Yeah.
They look, and because they're so beaten up and tired, they're just like, all right, pull out the table. Like that's
well, we're gonna talk
attitude
about
is.
that in a minute. We're gonna talk about death matches in a minute.
But Joe writes, I don't want it in terms of the Orange Cassidy and Eddie. I don't want it. I just think that's what will happen. I want Danielson.
I do think
I do want Danielson too, but that's a good idea. I don't think Danielson should win this one because of what you said. Like Danielson versus the Elite is the storyline right now. They shouldn't put him near the title because I want Hangman down alone.
I think Moxley's going to win this, and I think Moxley's going to fight Hangman on the 1-year anniversary of Moxley losing the title to Kenny. When winter is coming in December, I think that's going to be his first title defense. Hey, don't bark. It's okay. Hey.
Don't bark, Goose.
Okay. My dog's barking.
Be good, Goose. Oh, sweet. Mascot of the show, Goose. Goose. Well, Atticus is one, and Goose is another. Atticus is Moat's three-legged cat.
Absolutely.
Very cute. Very cute. Moving on, I've got one more. Charlotte and Becky don't like each other very much.
They used to be best friends.
It used to be best friends. Best friends. 4 horsewomen. They put up the fingers and everything, and now yesterday at SmackDown, there's some miscommunication with this title exchange thing, and they both got mad. And Vince McMahon's not. Yeah,
you know whose fault that is? Vince McMahon. It's Vince McMahon's fault.
Yeah. Everything's honestly the entire every problem in wrestling.
I think it's really funny though because someone was like, I always like to look at Brian Alvarez's Twitter. I think he's very funny, and someone said to him like, well, what are they supposed to do? They both have championships. They got to have a title exchange, and he's like, yeah, I forgot that wrestling isn't fake. I forgot that they can't plan it. They can't plan around this issue. And it's just so silly. And did you watch the segment? I watched like a clip of it.
I just watched the clip.
There's some heat there.
Awkward. Just awkward. It's awkward and unprofessional. Very unprofessional. Like I understand why Vince in the back was mad, just being like, stop being idiots. They're just being fucking dumb. But it was miscommunication. Charlotte tried to play a little catty by like pulling the belt away, but accidentally dropped it, and then Becky Lynch got pissed and then threw her belt at Charlotte, who caught it but then dropped it for some reason. We got some talking here. Good point. Maybe it will be Moxley. Probably will win. Mox will win by turning heel, Psycho Death Rider style. That is interesting. Joe writes, I hate Alvarez. So annoying.
I love him. He is such a prick, and I love it.
I don't pay attention. I pay no attention to him at all.
He's great. He's a good time.
I couldn't pick out what he sounds like. I couldn't.
He enunciates everything, and I think it's very funny. He also described it. I really like this description. I was going to try to put this in earlier. Anytime the WWE tries to plan something to thwart AEW by like putting something up against them or doing it, they always lose. So it's kind of like it's the Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. They just keep trying to find something new. It blows up in their face, and they keep trying to find something new, and the Roadrunner is just chilling, just running in circles.
It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Tony writes, Charlotte is right. This makes the belts pointless and just a prop. Is that what Charlotte's point is?
She said that it makes her title reign look weak to just hand the belt over and take another belt. And it does.
It's real dumb. No, it's very dumb. It's very dumb because they could have done this in a cool way.
They absolutely could have.
Could have done it.
They absolutely could have.
And this was the laziest way to do it. This is the absolute lazy. It's lazy. Yep. It's lazy. But that's all the stuff I have. Do you have any things to?
I just have a couple of little things. It's a shame that our buddy who loves the NWA isn't in here because Kylie Rae, professional wrestling Kylie Rae, is withdrawing from professional wrestling for a while to focus on her mental health and some recovery. All the best to Kylie Rae. I'm a big Kylie Rae fan.
Bless you, Kylie Rae. You're doing God's work.
Absolutely. And I just want to take a second. I wonder if John is still on the chat. If John Buseman's still on the chat, he'll appreciate this, I hope. Take a second this week, if you can, to go and watch the XPW Dark Side of the Ring.
I need to watch that. I didn't watch it this week.
I challenge anyone in the history of the world, anybody who watches wrestling, who's an historian, to find a worse wrestling promotion than XPW. It's the worst wrestling in the history of the world. I've watched a fair amount of it. A lot of it's on YouTube. It's awful. It's just so bad. But New Jack has some fun comments. R.I.P. New Jack. It's interesting.
The thing is, to talk about Dark Side of the Ring real quick, this was their lowest rated episode. Every episode this year has broken records, almost every one, in terms of their viewership. That's getting me scared. I know what you said about viewership and with DVRs and stuff like that, but like, shouldn't this be a warning of things to come?
I think a couple of things. I mean, I think they're covering more niche topics. Like last season it was like Jimmy Snuka. It was like, these older stories. I wonder how next week will do when they do the steroid trials for the WWF, and people like that. They want to hear about that. I don't know how many people want to hear about XPW. This guy sure does. But yeah,
I do. I want to hear about Wrestling Society
That should be next. They should do that next. Yeah.
That should be next, honestly. We got some comments here. Joe writes, belts and WWE are just props anyway. They don't care about them. Why should the audience? Very true. They don't, and it's a shame. John Busen, I'm here. Tony writes, hey, don't be hating on my man Supreme.
Supreme was like one of the main deathmatch guys in XPW.
All right. Right. John Buseman, I got reported. Okay,
yeah, John, let me know what you think.
That's homework for today. Let's all support Dark Side of the Ring because we want them to have more episodes. Yeah. We want this to continue. Joe, I'm looking at you. You're Mr. I don't watch wrestling, but I know everything about it. No, I think you better watch Dark Side of the Ring. And you too, Tony. Did a good job. We all have to do it. I guess, Tony, you probably already watched it because you love your man Supreme.
Supreme!
Any other thoughts this week?
No, I don't think so.
Ooh, can we pull up Dynamite?
Oh yeah, let's talk about Dynamite. I'm gonna use my phone for that.
Tony, right? I watched XPW on VHS the first time.
Hell yeah! I remember. Can I just tell a quick story? My older brother, when we lived in this little like shitty apartment, my whole family. He's 5 years older, and he would hide tapes that no one was supposed to find under his TV stand in his room. Mostly, we know what it was, but mixed into it was an XPW tape. And the main event was Big Dick Dudley versus like homeless Jimmy. That's all I remember.
I'd hate to get those tapes switched.
Yeah. See?
That'd be terrible. Joe writes, I watched the Fight from Hell and the Canyon one. Keep going.
Those are the ones.
Keep going. There's some good ones this year. What other ones that happened this year? FMW is really good. FMW was a dope one. Luna's very interesting. Canyon was good. A Fight from Hell was really good. Any other ones that were noteworthy, you think?
I mean, it depends. Are we talking about just this go around or the full third season? Because the Pillman one's great.
No, just that we need to support this season. We need to support this season so we get those numbers up. But yeah, tell me what this
we got Danielson versus Dustin Rhodes. We got Lance.
Awesome. Can't wait for that. We're all
Archer versus Eddie Kingston. We got Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes, 3. And then there's a women's match that I isn't on this article, so I don't remember it. Uh-oh.
You didn't write it down?
Let me see if I can find something better. Hold on a sec.
Even the fucking writers aren't giving them justice.
September 29th,
That's
2021.
Terrible.
The heck? Hold on.
September 29th, 2021.
Bear with me a second.
We're losing the audience here, Royster.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Goose,
start barking. Hey, did you watch Rampage last night? What a main event.
It was
It was great.
It was good. I wasn't really sold on the night. John Buseman writes, Collision in Korea was dope too. So much I'd never heard. But Collision in Korea might be the most enlightening one that I've ever
Scorpio.
seen. A lot of these and Herb Abrams, of the UWF. Those are the two that I think are the most enlightening. Collision in Korea and Herb Abrams.
All right, you ready? I got the whole thing pulled up here. All right, Dustin Rhodes versus Daniel Bryan. We know. Lance Archer versus Eddie Kingston. We know.
Can't wait.
Oh, okay. So TBS Women's Championship Tournament match starts tonight. Ruby Soho versus Penelope Ford. So that's the first match in the tournament.
Okay.
Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes, 3. And then this match, I know this is the one you're looking forward to the most. Jungle Boy versus Brandon Cutler.
Are you serious? Are they really?
Oh yeah,
doing
baby.
This?
Associate Stooge, Brandon Cutler. Red's never watching AEW again.
Brandon Cutler is the worst. The worst. He is the performer I like the least in AEW. Maybe in wrestling right now. I don't have. There's no redeeming qualities. Joe writes, they did an Owen Hart episode, right? I'd watch that one. Watch them all. Don't just watch the one. Don't pick and choose. That's the issue, Joe.
The example.
We're going to lose this show if we're not careful.
Is that they care about the WWF ones, the WCW ones. It's an older audience. Not that you're older, Joe. You're spry. Young chicken.
Young chicken. You chicken? Joe writes, I only like the ones on topics I know. Yeah, but like, don't you want to like find FMW? I think you'd enjoy. Is it because he took your gimmick? Who took my
Brandon Cutler?
Oh, you fuck! You dirty dog! You dirty, dirty dog! Man, this show's over.
Yeah,
that's it. Cut the hit
Great
the music.
way to go out. Hey, we'll be back on Wednesday. Now that Dynamite's back on Wednesday.
This Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll be back
for Dynamite Wednesdays. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Loser Leaves Wrestling. Follow us on Instagram. Things are heating up on Instagram. I'm posting. I'm making some posts. I'm copying and pasting. I'm taking people's pictures. I'm having fun with it. And we're also following us on Twitter to know when we get these updates. Check us out on our podcast. When you miss us here, you can catch us there. Anything else to add, Royce?
I keep saying I'm going to post more on Twitter, but I'm going to start doing Match of the Week. Just random matches I find on YouTube that I like.
Let's do it, dog. Let's build that and tell your friends about their show. Don't tell them that there's technical issues.
Hey, there weren't any technical issues today.
Well, they weren't.
It was okay. It was all right. All right.
Your dog touched your computer and everything lost for a second.
Well, if anybody knows a tech, let us know.
If anyone knows a tech, let us know. Thank you all so much. This is Loser Leaves Wrestling. My name is Red Jefferson. I'm here with Roy Hammer. Bye. Bye. You ever watch RuPaul's Drag Race?